If you served in the military, currently are serving in the military, or are a spouse of a deceased service member and want to use the VA home loan, this is the video you're going to want to watch. We're going to go through the basics of the VA home loan and let you know all the things you should understand prior to starting the process.
Welcome to your military PCS guide channel. On this channel, we're making sure that you know everything about your PCS to your next duty station. We talk about the do's, the don'ts, the local areas, and what to expect, and getting you in contact with our team of trusted local specialists, all military affiliated, who can help ease the transition. We've all been there. We'd appreciate if you hit the like button. It helps any other military service member PCSing around the country be able to find these helpful videos. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified anytime we put a new video out on this channel. And look, our team talks to military service members just like you every single day, and we absolutely love it. If you are PCSing and looking to get in contact with a trusted local specialist such as myself or a member of our team, you've got to reach out, okay? You can shoot us a text, you can send us a DM, you can send us an email. You can skip all that and you can go to the Zoom link down in the description below. All that and more is available to you. You can reach out however you would like. All right. We love it. We absolutely love it. And however you want to get a hold of us, we definitely got your back when PCSing to your next duty station.
VA home loans are provided by private lenders such as banks and mortgage companies. The VA then in turn guarantees a portion of the loan, enabling the lender to provide you as a service member with more favorable terms such as lower closing costs, no down payment requirement, and lower interest rates compared to other loan programs. This is exciting because most other loan programs require a down payment, and a down payment of course takes time to save. With a VA loan, you can purchase a home with 0% financing, which means you can in turn start building equity in a home sooner. First thing you're going to want to do is determine if you're eligible for the VA loan. Speaking to a loan officer that specializes in VA loans is going to help you determine this if you're unsure. But just to give you a bit of context of what the VA says is eligible to receive the VA home loan benefit is 90 days of continuous active duty service in wartime, 181 days or greater of continuous active duty service during peacetime, 6 years or greater in the selected reserves or in the National Guards, or you are a surviving spouse of a deceased service member that died due to active duty related causes. There's a few other circumstances that might be applicable to you, but just understand 90 days, 181 days, either wartime or peacetime, and then 6 years of continuous service in the reserves or in the National Guard.
So when it comes to using your VA loan, most often people hear zero down loan, or no down payment required. That's the key words right there, no down payment required. Now, depending that you do qualify to receive a home loan, and a lot of veterans and active duty service members usually do because of their income and things like that. Now, you do still have to worry about debt to income ratios, right? Do you have car debts, car loans, credit card debts, student loans, these types of things. But when it comes to just talking about a down payment, it is not required when using your VA loan. Now, typically with like a conventional mortgage, you're looking at roughly anywhere from 5, 10, 20% down payment, right? When it comes to the VA loan, we're looking at zero. So for instance, when we're looking at a purchase price, right, of let's say a $400,000 home with conventional mortgage, most oftentimes, depending on how that person qualifies, they're going to be looking for anywhere from a 10 to 20% down payment, all right, for the conventional loan. When it comes to purchasing that same $400,000 home using your VA loan, $0 is required to purchase that home pending that you do qualify. Okay, so that's what we mean by a zero down loan or a no down payment required. That's one of the huge benefits of the VA loan and one of the most well-known benefits when it comes to using your VA loan to purchase your next home. Please keep in mind though that anytime there is a transaction and a purchase of a home, there are costs related to this transaction. So yes, it may be no down payment required, but you may still need money to bring to the table when it comes to the transaction and the purchase of the home. And sometimes that can be the appraisal, right? So let's say that, for instance, that same $400,000 home, the VA appraiser goes in and doesn't appraise the home at $400,000. The VA appraiser says, you know what, the value of this home is actually $390,000. Now we have a $10,000 gap in what this VA appraiser is valuing the home at, and your agreed upon purchase price of $400,000, if that's what you went under contract with. Now we may need to bring this $10,000 to the table, depending on how your agent or a member of our team writes this contract for you. All right. One of the other things, again, we talked about the closing costs that you want to be aware of when it comes to it. So a lot of times, and the reason I'm pointing these out is because a lot of people hear zero down loan or no down payment required, and then they think that they're just going to go purchase a home and not have to bring any money to the table at all. We just want to make sure that you're clear that there will be costs associated with the transaction. It's just a matter of how they're handled and depending on the lender and the program that you use.
Okay, so the first step of the home buying process is getting pre-approved. So you've determined that you are eligible for a VA loan. Now you need to understand what you can purchase, right? So a pre-approval is going to yield two very important things. First off, it's going to yield your estimated max qualification. And then the second thing, more importantly, the lender that you speak with should help you figure out what your purchase price target area is based off of your desired monthly housing budget. So that desired monthly housing budget is going to be the amount that you want to spend a month in your monthly housing expense. And then from there, you're going to reverse engineer what that purchase price range is, right? So there's a lot of factors that go into your desired monthly housing budget for a housing expense standpoint. These are going to be things like principal, interest, taxes, insurance, and then association and maintenance fees if you're looking at a project, at a home that's in a project or in a community. So here are three things to understand about the VA loan. These are components of the loan and the way it works. So first off, there is no loan limit on the VA loan. Prior to January 1st of 2020, there was, however, as of January 1st, 2020, there is no longer a loan limit on the VA loan. So what that means for you is if you qualify based on credit and income, and you can find a lender to lend you that amount of money, you can get a loan for that amount with a free entitlement. The second thing to understand is there is no mortgage insurance. This is often known, you will hear people say it is MIP or PMI, which is mortgage insurance premium or private mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance typically accompanies different loan programs with a down payment of less than 20% or greater than 80% loan to value ratio. Mortgage insurance reduces the risk for lenders on a home loan that has less than 20% down. Bottom line is there is no mortgage insurance on VA loans because the VA is guaranteeing that loan to whatever lender lends you that money, which in turn reduces their risk. And then lastly, DTI. So the VA does not necessarily have a rigid guideline on the maximum debt to income ratio allowance on VA loans. That's not to say that certain lenders may not have a max debt to income ratio that is allowable, whether that's 41% or 43 or 50%, but there are also VA loans out there that can exceed 60%. The VA, or the VA guidelines rather, they're going to look at it more as a comprehensive site picture and taking into account things such as reserve, overall income, FICO score. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it, but just understand with VA loans compared to other loans like a conventional loan program or FHA or USDA, you're going to have a less rigid outline for what is allowable, and you can in turn qualify for more on VA loans than you can with other loan programs. So for someone using a VA loan, especially as a first-time home buyer, they may not have the best credit, either due to a past credit issue that has allowed them to not purchase a home in the past, or maybe they're just younger and they do not have a lot of credit history, so they haven't had a chance to build up that credit score. The VA does not have a minimum credit score requirement. The VA looks at the VA loan more as a veteran benefit as opposed to a loan program. Now, in turn, because the VA is not lending the money, they are guaranteeing it rather, there's going to be a private lender or some variety of lender that is not associated with the VA that's going to lend the money. Individual lenders will often have their own credit overlays And what a credit overlay is basically a qualification requirement that is more restrictive than the overall loan program. While there typically is going to be some kind of credit score requirement per whatever lender that you are going through to get that VA loan, they're typically going to be lower on average compared to other loan programs like a conventional loan program or maybe a USDA or FHA loan that lender may have as well. So while the VA does not have a minimum credit score requirement, in general compared to other loan programs, a lower credit score is permissible with a VA loan. Typically 580 is going to be the absolute bottom that a lender is going to do per their individual respective guidelines. Now remember, just because one lender has a 580 credit score does not mean that the next VA lender is going to have a 610 credit score or 620 credit score requirement. It's really going to vary depending on what lender you're going to. So it's super important that the VA loan officer you speak to really understands how the VA works. Ultimately, that loan officer is going to help explain to you why your credit score is good to go or why it's not good to go. If you need to increase it, maybe they can work with you and do some credit improvement. But this is a super important piece of the overall process in using your VA home loan is talking to a loan officer and understanding if you're good to go or maybe not at that time, maybe you're not ready, but you can get in that spot. Now, another thing that's very commonly misunderstood is what kind of property is allowable for the VA loan. And does it need to be approved? What is acceptable? What type of property? Condo, townhome, single family home, etc. So first off, for single family homes that are not in a project or an association, the home just needs to meet the VA's minimum property requirements. Essentially, is the home safe, structurally sound, and sanitary? Those are really what the VA says the home needs to be. So if the home has a major issue with the roof or a cracking foundation, it's probably not going to be good to go. If it's something small, cosmetic, it probably isn't a huge issue, but ultimately it's going to come down to the appraiser that's contracted by the VA to make that determination. The second piece of this is for a property in a project or in an association, which is more commonly known as. If it is in an association or within a project, that property needs to be VA approved. And this is where the VA condo approval list will come into play. You could probably look this up, but the realtor that you're working with or the lender, they're going to be able to identify that property if it's approved. If it's not approved, what steps need to be taken to get it VA approved. They're going to help you out with that.
Continuing on to make sure that you know everything that there is to know when you're using your VA loan, we're going to go ahead and hit it with the VA appraiser, right? We talked about the VA appraiser when we were talking about the zero down loan. Your VA appraiser is going to be assigned to come out and assess the property and appraise the property to see what kind of property or value the property holds. That's what the VA appraiser is for, right? So a lot of times, and this can happen where the buyer, to sweeten up their offer, says, you know what, we don't want to inspect the property, but the property is still going to be inspected by a VA appraiser because it has to meet the conditions, right? And some of these conditions are that it is healthy, right? It is suitable for living now because it is VA loans are for primary residents only, right? So it's got to be health and safety essentially and functional, all right? And that it's not going to collapse, nothing wrong with the foundation or anything like that, right? But the VA is going to come out and assess the property. VA appraiser is going to come out and assess the property, and then they're also going to give the property a value. Now, when in a hot seller's market, which we've been in for the past couple years now, a lot of times a strategy that people are using. So remember when agents are helping their educate their clients with is, and this is exactly what I do and how I write it for my clients, depending on cash funds available and these types of things. But it makes your offer a lot better and a lot more sweet when we're talking about how do you win, how do you win your VA offer, right? So we talked about the gap. We talked about a $400,000 home not appraising at $400,000, which may have been your agreed upon purchase price, but it was appraised by the VA appraiser at $390,000. Now we've got this $10,000 gap. In your purchase contract to sweeten your offer, which looks good to the seller because it helps with their bottom line and it almost guarantees the purchase price, almost. There's several different ways that you can write an appraisal gap clause, okay? And a lot of times what that means is, hey, if in fact this home does not appraise at the agreed upon purchase price, the buyer is willing to bring up to and no more than $10,000 to the table in cash funds to cover the gap. Okay, there's a lot of different nuances and ways that it can be written. That is just an example, but understanding how the appraiser is coming to look at the home and the value that they can put on it can have an impact on you using your VA loan. I've already let you know about several other costs, right? We've been hitting all these things, hitting you with a fire hose of information. Now I want to talk to you about closing costs, because we talked about cost being associated with the transaction or purchase of a home. All right, so when it comes to closing costs, who is paying these? All right, well, in the seller's market that we've been in, right, the seller's market, depending on where you're at and things like that, sellers used to offer to help pay with closing costs. Now, it really depends on the market and these types of things. I would not ask that in this seller's market today, but understanding who's paying for these closing costs and the costs you have to pay associated with this transaction. We're going to pull this up here so that you can see how sometimes these things are divvied out. From what you can see right here, you can see that the commission for real estate professionals is paid for by the seller, the brokerage fee, the buyer broker fee, and the termite report. Okay, what do we mean by the termite report? The buyer of the home in a VA loan cannot pay for the termite inspection. Now, what our group does is we actually do offer to help cover some of these costs, usually most often the termite report, to help sweeten the deal, and it looks good because then this cost is not something that the seller has to incur when it comes to the closing costs, and it helps you, the buyer, have a stronger offer when you're competing with other offers. Now, when it comes to you, the buyer, you can negotiate your closing cost or seller concessions, right? But when we're looking at the VA funding fee, the loan origination fee, discount points, if any, or buy downs, credit report and payment of any credit balances or judgments, VA appraisal fee, hazard insurance and real estate taxes, state and local taxes, title insurance, and recording fee. Now, not all of these fees do apply. It depends on the lender that you're choosing to use. And I'm not going to call any names out, but there are some lender or loan companies, some very popular ones for VA, that do have lender fees and charge extra fees that you won't even see or hear about until it comes time to close on that transaction. So make sure you reach out to us so that we can have that conversation to see if we can possibly help you in any sort of way, get the best rate and loan product possible. We have hit you with a ton of information, getting this VA home loan explained for you so that you know the ins and outs and all the nuances, and to understand that there's going to be some costs associated with using your VA loan. All right, tons of other information and stuff on this channel, but if you've already made it this far and you haven't already hit the like button, please do so. It helps anybody else be able to find this information. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and that notification bell so that you get notified anytime that I upload a new video on this channel. And like we said in the beginning, we get so many military service members, active duty and veterans reaching out, looking to use their VA loan or PCSing to their next duty station and looking to buy that home using their VA loan. You can do the same thing too. You can shoot us a text, you can give me a call, you can send us the email. You can skip all that and use the link down in the description below to schedule your appointment with myself or a member of our team to start talking about your PCS or using your VA home loan, whichever. We're here to help no matter what. Tons of other information and videos on this channel, VA home loans, duty stations all over the United States, lots more coming too. All that's going to start popping up for you right now.